Deedle-dum-dum, deedle-dum-dum, deedle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He'd duck and cover, duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.
During the peak of the Cold War, many Westerners lived with the knowledge that total nuclear annihilation was a complete possibility. And not in the way we do in the present, for nuclear warfare now feels like a distant what-if. But for people living in the recent post-war era, especially the 50s and 60s, the threat was far more looming. Hundreds of atomic bombs were tested, dropped in the sea, on distant lands, and in the deserts, in previous years to test the destruction and power it would set upon their enemies. But now, as the world began to catch up, it became a matter of safety. They were no longer dropping bombs to test how many could be killed, but now, to test how many Americans could be saved. But eventually, the question had to be asked. How on earth would you measure such a thing? So in came DoomTown. Houses lined up in the Nevada desert, mannequins of fake, perfect families placed inside and positioned around the house. A husband sat at the table, his wife cooking, the children playing. He is hardworking, she is subservient, and they are innocent. White, married, and well off. American dreams trapped in American suburbia. The bombing begins.
These dramatic pictures, recorded by automatic cameras, reveal the blast effect on the town installations.
The DoomTown bombings were split into two separate operations, Operation Doorstep and Operation Q. Originally given the name Survival Towns, DoomTown 1, created for Operation Doorstep, was constructed in 1953, consisting of 2 suburban homes, mannequins, 50 cars, and 8 bomb shelters. The first home was built closer to the detonation area, just about half a mile. The second was around a mile and a half away. A 16-kiloton nuclear device detonated at about 300 feet, 90 meters, above the ground, destroying the closest house and breaking parts of the second. House 1 collapsed, everything but the basement falling apart. House 2 was damaged but remained standing. This was expected. The much more ambitious DoomTown 2, as a part of Operation Q, was built in 1955, this being a whole neighbourhood, including public facilities and radio towers. Mannequins were placed in lots of different places. Canned goods were stocked in basements and nuclear bunkers. For DoomTown 2, 29 kilotons were dropped on the town, the bomb called Apple II. This yielded similar results, but on a larger scale. Some houses were destroyed, some still stood. The same held true for the mannequins, though mannequins couldn't really account for radiation sickness and how the heat would burn skin. The Federal Civil Defense Administration, FCDA for short because I'm not saying that every time, saw its mission not just as practical defense, but as psychological reassurance. Something to inform and alarm the public, but also to reassure them of their total safety. The American government has its back. Probably. Just duck and cover. Maybe even build an entire nuclear bunker. Stock up on cans. To show the American family that to prepare for bombs is to survive bombs. To deter the public from mass hysteria. Easing the worries that fallout would kill quickly. Harm like the concentrated bombing of Hiroshima. Showing that an attack on America would not mean death, even if that claim wasn't completely backed up at that time. Language was cleaned up. The word bombs was switched out with devices. Nuclear annihilation became a massive retaliation, mutual assured destruction as opposed to Armageddon. The language around nuclear warfare slowly changed by the government, because now nukes weren't just an American weapon, they were a global one. Propaganda leaflets and short videos were spread around, advising citizens on proper procedure and safety, as though nuclear destruction could be treated as a fire drill. It continued to instill the idea that the public could survive, but also attempted to scare citizens into preparing. That is what the survival towns did. It showed the difference between death with ignorance and life with awareness. That was the message. Follow our instructions, and you will never need to worry. The ideal family is prepared, and the average American should be able to see themselves in the mannequins. White, middle class, respectable for their era. Though the propaganda was framed as something for every person to relate to and take information from, the reality of DoomTowns and PSAs did not comply with those intentions. Here we see a father in his basement creating a bunker for the whole family, as he provides. A mother in her kitchen stocking up on canned goods. Children playing, oblivious to the incoming threat. Honestly, just to go off topic for a little bit here, but while researching DoomTowns, I saw an academic paper on DoomTowns by the University of Kent that compared the DoomTown to Disneyland. And I found myself agreeing because, yeah, DoomTown kind of acts like a different reality, and I'm sure some people have attempted to view the site as if it's some sort of morbid theme park. Then, as I was reading, I was reminded of my favourite ride at Disney, the Carousel of Progress. And while I'm not a Disney Parks geek, I have to say this is a ride I know a little bit too much about. And it's 100% my favourite in the parks. Not because it's thrilling or amazing or anything like that, but because of the propaganda it promotes. And the fact that while it attempts to look into the future, it still manages to adhere completely to the conformity of the time.
The last act of the Carousel Theatre shows the wonderful family life of today with its leisurely push-button living.
So instead of still feeling futuristic to the rider now, it's more like a piece of history, frozen in time while trying to move forward. Unfortunately, to all of us, especially to me, the Carousel of Progress has been modernized over the years. They change it every decade or so. So if you went on it, it would be different. It would be modern. People would be wearing VR headsets and stuff. But the 60s version is so fun. The Carousel of Progress was introduced during New York's World Fair in 1964 and contains these creepy animatronics of the perfect American family, moving forward as the world progresses. Something about this ride reminds me a lot of the American DoomTown, because they were trying to promote the same ideals of the nuclear family, the perfect family, one who benefits from what progress provides. And while one is definitely more positive, I think this particular Disney ride gives us a lot of insight into what the American government was trying to do, and also shows as well how it failed. Because talking about new dishwashers and fancy lights for Christmas is far different from talking about the potential destruction of a community. So perhaps it would have been better for the makers of DoomTown to avoid using anything resembling a person in the first place. The survival town was civil defense, packaged as conformity. Men were expected to adopt nuclear fatherhood, to provide and labor for the family through building and protecting. A woman's role was domestic. She was a steward. Her duty was to maintain order, amass food for her family, and carry all the weight of emotional labor. Many PSAs of the time instructed children to wear steel necklaces with identifying information in case their bodies needed to be verified. Survival was not just the duty of the government. It was now the duty of the family. Propaganda films warned that there is no second best for a family's civil defense. But this representation was incredibly narrow. A slim, well-off Mr. and Mrs. America with their 2.5 children and their white picket fence and white American dreams. There was no racial diversity and no alternative family arrangements were shown. This was mainly due to the time, and no tabloid or newspaper even thought to comment on it. The press did, however, humanize these ideals. The mannequins became characters. A once happy family torn to shreds. A grisly image of a wife in pieces, her husband burned by radiation. Films and newspapers depicted annihilation bluntly. And everything the government had attempted to avoid came into place. I've got to say, really, how on earth did the creators of this just expect the American public to react to something that's just morbid? Because they were seeing secondhand the ultimate victim of nuclear destruction. The family unit. destroyed, and so. Journalists never seemed to catch on to the idea of the survival town, the name buried and labelled Doom, because, well, DoomTown did not do what it set out to achieve. DoomTown was meant to show Americans that there was hope to survive. But what hope could the typical American family derive from a video showing their complete and total annihilation? And furthermore, what was then the point in acting, in gathering? While some people did stock up and plan, most remained passive. And by most, I mean nearly all. Civil defense directors admitted the failure of the program. Instead of action and collaboration, Americans reacted to the DoomTown with, well, doom. There was a sense of hopelessness, and in that hopelessness, many Americans chose to ignore the possibility of nuclear warfare. And at that point, DoomTown became a thrilling but terrifying spectacle. Think of the way some people listen to murder podcasts, or watch a documentary on Ted Bundy out of morbid curiosity. Because that's what DoomTown became. For the press and some of the American public, it wasn't a warning grounded in reality. It was grim entertainment. The FCDA insisted that millions learned from these pictures, yet what exactly they learned remains unclear. The test provided no clear survival guidance. For many, seeing tiny America obliterated only confirmed that survival was impossible. DoomTown was not a place where the aware survive. DoomTown was a world where all is lost and where all dies. Mr. and Mrs. America are you, and you have no way out of this. It was a waste of money and a waste of time, but I don't want to imagine a world where this didn't happen.